Hello, dear friends, welcome to our YouTube channel, USA Football Zone, latest football highlights. A 1-0 scoreline can be deceptive. Sometimes, a fiercely contested, cagey match is decided by a single moment of luck. But Argentina's victory over Brazil at the Maracanã, that was something else entirely. For 64 consecutive matches, the Maracanã had stood as an impenetrable fortress, a bastion of Brazilian football, a venue where the national team had never, ever lost a World Cup qualifier, until this moment. This was not merely a defeat, it was a precise, tactical strike that not only vanquished Brazil, but also laid bare their vulnerabilities. This match, which brought an end to Brazil's historic, undefeated home run in the qualifiers, exposed a deep-seated tactical flaw within the Brazilian squad. It demonstrated why the reigning World Cup champions, Argentina, operate on a different plane, and why Brazil has every reason to be deeply, deeply concerned. This 1-0 victory stands as one of the most significant triumphs in the history of the Argentine national team, a historic moment that confirmed a stark reality: one team stood at the absolute pinnacle of its powers, while the other resembled a stumbling giant, lost in the dark. To understand how Argentina achieved this historic victory, one must first grasp the chaotic state in which Brazil found itself. Under interim manager Fernando Diniz, the team was an experiment, one that had just failed miserably. Diniz is renowned for his unique style, sometimes dubbed relationalism or Dinizismo, a fluid, possession-based tactical approach that completely rejects the rigid positional structures typical of European football. His teams concentrate players around the ball, seeking to advance up the pitch through tight coordination and situational adaptability. At his club, Fluminense, this revolutionary style had earned him a Copa Libertadores title, but attempting to implement it with the national team, where players fly in from all corners of Europe for just a few days of training, it was akin to inviting disaster. This entire system demands a deep, almost telepathic connection among the players, something that simply cannot be forged during a brief international break. The result was a completely disjointed defense, a disorganized midfield, and a thoroughly lackluster attack. Against Argentina, Diniz deployed Brazil in a 4-2-4 or 4-4-2 formation, a setup that repeatedly left them completely exposed. The two central midfielders, André and Bruno Guimarães, were under immense pressure and tasked with covering vast swathes of space, an impossible feat against Argentina's disciplined midfield. Due to this structural chaos, Brazil's primary strategy for containing Argentina was not astute defending, but rather simply fouling them. They committed a staggering number of fouls, turning what could have been a spectacular football match into a stagnant stalemate. This was not proactive defending, it was a desperate, reactive attempt to disrupt the flow of the game. As their own tactical framework had completely disintegrated, while this pressure may have prevented Argentina from launching fluid attacks, it did nothing to help Brazil gain any genuine control over the match. The state of the attack was equally dire. In the absence of the injured Neymar and Vinicius Jr., the offensive line was spearheaded by four young and energetic players: Rafinha, Rodrigo, Gabriel Martinelli, and Gabriel Jesus. However, their attacking endeavors were hasty and quickly fizzled out. They frequently ended in nothing more than a hopeful long ball or a failed dribble running straight into a defensive wall. Individually, they were a squad of exceptional players, but collectively, they lacked cohesion. They were in desperate need of a playmaker to dictate the tempo of the game and knit the team together, a critical vulnerability against a highly organized side like Argentina. This was not that legendary Brazil, the one steeped in folklore. Rather, it was a team suffering from an identity crisis, one that was remarkably easy to defeat. While Brazil was spiraling into disarray, Argentina stood as a paragon of composure, discipline, and ruthless efficiency. Coach Lionel Scaloni has forged a squad distinguished by its tactical versatility, a team capable of winning in a multitude of ways. They entered the Maracanã Stadium fully aware that the atmosphere would be hostile and that the Brazilian side would be itching to attack. Consequently, Scaloni prepared his players not to outplay Brazil in open combat, but to outwit them and outlast them. They opted for a 4-4-2 formation, specifically engineered to maximize defensive solidity. The four midfielders, Rodrigo de Paul, Alexis Mac Allister, Enzo Fernandez, and Giovanni Lo Celso, served as the team's engine room. They were cohesive, disciplined, and tireless in their efforts. While Brazil's pressing was chaotic and riddled with fouls, Argentina's pressing was intelligent. They did not merely chase after retreating Brazilians, instead, they held their ground, poised to strike whenever Brazil attempted a pivotal pass. Whenever Brazil sought to play the ball out from the back, the Argentines would spring a trap, applying intense man-to-man pressure. It was a tactical masterstroke. The plan: Brazil could pass the ball around safely as much as they pleased, yet, the moment they attempted to take a risk, they would fall right into a trap. Led by the tireless Rodrigo de Paul and the attacking-minded Alexis Mac Allister, the Argentine midfield would swarm the ball, forcing the Brazilians either to lose possession or to resort to desperate fouls. Both de Paul and Mac Allister were seasoned campaigners who, even when taking knocks, never relented in their efforts to maintain their dominance in the middle of the park. When in possession, Argentina remained patient. They did not panic when Brazil's aggressive yet disorganized pressing made the game difficult. They understood that, in such a high-pressure environment, control was far more critical than creativity. They simply weathered the storm, frustrated Brazil, and allowed their opponents' lack of discipline to work to their own advantage. Although Lionel Messi was carrying an injury and was not at his usual commanding best, the structure of the Argentine team never wavered. And therein lay the true strength of Scaloni's champions. They do not rely on any single individual. Mentally, they are an impenetrable fortress. They knew that Brazil's emotional and tactical vulnerabilities would eventually cause them to crumble. All they had to do was wait for their moment. Their game plan was not to create a multitude of chances, but rather to contain Brazil and wait for that one perfect opportunity to strike. After enduring an hour of pressure, drawing fouls, and maintaining their team shape, Argentina finally got their chance. It did not stem from a spectacular passing sequence or a moment of individual brilliance from a forward. Instead, it came from a set piece, a fitting reward for their discipline and flawless execution. In the 63rd minute, Argentina won a corner kick. Giovanni Lo Celso, a vital cog in that disciplined midfield, stepped up to take it. He delivered a magnificent, curling ball directly into the heart of the Brazilian penalty area. The veteran centre-back, Nicolas Otamendi, rose to meet it. He delivered a powerful header that beat Alisson and found the back of the net. It was an extraordinary goal that perfectly encapsulated the flawless execution of their game plan. This goal was the direct result of a tactical battle that had been unfolding over the previous hour. Exhausted and frustrated by the relentless chasing and fouling by the Argentine players, Brazil momentarily lost their focus. Argentina, with their champion's mentality, was poised to strike. Otamendi, alongside Christian Romero, who had earlier made a crucial goal line clearance, had stood resolute in defense throughout the night. This goal was the reward for that performance. This goal completely shattered Brazil. Their frustration, which had been simmering beneath the surface throughout the match, finally boiled over. In the 81st minute, just moments after coming on as a substitute, Brazilian midfielder Joe Linton received a straight red card for striking Rodrigo de Paul. It was a moment born of sheer desperation. Trailing by a goal and reduced to 10 men, Brazil's hopes of a comeback were extinguished. Argentina played out the remainder of the match with absolute professionalism. They weathered the physical clashes, silenced the Maracana Stadium, and executed their game plan to perfection. The final whistle confirmed what had seemed unimaginable just hours earlier. For the first time in history, Brazil had lost a World Cup qualifying match on home soil. The 1-0 scoreline seemed to create a vast void, serving as stark proof that while one team operated like a perfectly tuned machine, the other had completely crumbled. This 1-0 defeat was not merely Brazil's third consecutive loss during a difficult spell. It was a historic humiliation that signaled a deeper crisis. This defeat dropped them to 6th place in the qualifying standings. While this position remains sufficient for qualification, it is a source of national shame. More importantly, this exposes the team as strategically inexperienced and emotionally fragile. Diniz' experiment with the national squad was an undeniable failure, a clear indication that a complex club-style system cannot be replicated verbatim without the luxury of time and cohesion that international managers simply never possess. Brazil is now a team without an identity. It is a collection of stars who have forgotten the tactical structures of their European clubs yet failed to properly master a new methodology. They now appear to be a mere shadow of the formidable force they once were. In stark contrast, Argentina appears stronger than ever. Achieved without a fully fit Messi and amidst unimaginably hostile conditions, this victory sent a resounding message. As Lionel Messi himself remarked after the match, this team continues to achieve historic milestones. They have proven that they are not merely a squad of talented individuals. They are a true collective, a tactically astute unit capable of adapting to any challenge and finding a way to win by any means necessary. They may be spectacular, but they are also pragmatic. They can be ruthless, gritty, and utterly merciless. This result was no fluke. It was a tactical defeat, one that should serve as a chilling warning to both Brazil and the rest of the world. Since winning the World Cup, Argentina has only continued to evolve, transforming into an even more complete and mentally unbreakable squad. Excellent tact. An era of Argentine dominance built upon grit and an indomitable, never-say-die winning mentality now lies before us. What are your thoughts? Can Brazil's problems be resolved? Or does this mark the end of an era? Let me know in the comments below. And if you would like to see more strategic analysis like this, be sure to subscribe to our channel.